Hello and welcome. It is the completion of the 7th day of July 2019. My name is Derek. Like always, all bets and trades, that's within your own risk and your own reward. I'm not a financial advisor, although it'd be fun to be one, but the way I'd want to be one, not like the old banking system. In fact, a lot of times my advice would be to get out of the stock market. But that's just my advice. Every person has different financial situations. But for myself, being able to control your private keys, you have the option, do you want to hold it or do you want somebody else to hold it? And you can be in situations where, no offense, I trust you, yada yada, but I just rather have my money. I want my gold, I want my silver, and well, when I look at things like stock markets, of course, I want to hold my Google shares or I want to hold my Apple shares or whichever stocks that you are that you hold. And you be in possession of them. You have 100% control whenever you want based on the rules of the game. It's all about the game and how you play it. All right, then. 400-minute term time frame for Bitcoin, which I've upgraded my package, at least for 1 month, to the medium one. We'll find out how good their cost therapy and trading views customer support is because the big features I want to see charts of Theta against Litecoin, QTUM against Theta, and all my crosses on here. Because if I can't do that, it's probably just going to be, at least at this rate, 1 month. Because this month is going to cost me the entire duration of 1 year from the end of 2017 to the end of 2018 because it's a little more expensive for the second plan and I ended up getting it for well under $10 a month. It was like $6, $7 US a month during that last time. $90 it cost me. This cost me 30 for 1 month to try it. Cost me 90 from Thanksgiving to Thanksgiving, 2017 to 18. And it's funny because I go into this whole financial advising thing, and I'm thinking, you know what? No, how and why and what would I do to do it and stuff like that. Well, quite frankly, I really don't want to. I can only actually, I'd have to be a part time job. It really, really would, especially depending on what my clients, quote unquote, would need done outside of like original consultations and stuff like that. Because, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time doing that help. But, and then you have like one time learning the trading strategies. But yeah, a lot of it would be cross ratio. And just the most simplest one for almost everybody would be yeah, put half of it into, well, I guess somewhat simple because this doesn't own Bitcoin, but put half into Litecoin, half into Theta, and then hold some Litecoin and or Bitcoin back. And even we can talk later about Bitcoin Cash and other things, but just for two simple ones, Litecoin and that of um, Theta. Cross the two, trade the two, work them together, so on and so forth. Learn how the ratio game works. Learn how technically, places like Binance is really just going to be nothing more like a store. You don't leave any of your money at the store. You go in with money and assets to get other assets from the store. And that's exactly what you do with the exchanges. You walk in, you walk out. Just talk about different things like retirement. For myself, I put a video up earlier talking about retirement strategies, more along the lines of mine. Ideally, of some of the things in which that is needed. I mean, there's so many other different categories that you look into, but towards stuff like that. But those are one of the things. Is one of my main things I would be talking about as far as retirement's concerned. And I mean, how many years' salary do you have in gold and silver? And what's a year's salary for you? And really, you got to go lowball on this number. I mean, not too lowball, but generally speaking, yeah, 50,000 Canadian a year, even 40,000 for one person on a just whatever. And if you can, you got that number. If it's not over 10, you're not there. You're not there. Although you're close. And if that number is significantly lower than your fiat assets, you got a problem. You have that much fiat cash and that little precious metals. What are you planning on doing with all the cash that you're holding, kind of deal? For one of the things I'd be talking about as far as spending money is how to actually use cryptocurrency as money. Which, if you need help on that, let me know. In North America, at least I know, at least in U.S. and Canada, I know how I wouldn't. I'm sure I could figure it out in other world parts, depending on the country, of course. But in North America, it's easy as anything for like almost everything. So yeah, so just talk about that, and you'd be no as far as money is concerned. Well, one, you're gonna be noticed that you're gonna be playing this uh, in the transfer of wealth cycle with cryptos. You'll be playing in that of the what I consider the great deflationary cycle, hyperdeflation. If of course you got a good portfolio, and you don't need the massive size to start off with, given its high gains that will able to come up from it, but be able to play hyperdeflation in that level, meaning you use it for cash. And that's why when I mentioned like okay, you put an even amount into two coins like Litecoin and Theta. Well, I still want to have cryptos on the side, Litecoin, Bitcoin, whatnot, to be able to use as money and use as and of course, and a lot of times when you go through life, you're just going to get situations where you can accumulate them through your paychecks, through different jobs, different people you meet, different things you sell. Oh, I wouldn't mind getting rid of whatever this piece of art or whatever it is that you may have, and somebody who's got some Bitcoin. Maybe you don't want Bitcoin, but you can sell it for whatever you want on the exchange. So I mean, it's just having like them together in that pairing set and understanding what level of aggressiveness that you want to work with, because cryptos in itself is very aggressive. So in some cases, when people are really don't want maybe would like those big games, but don't want to um, play as dangerous, if you will. Theta, I still think, is more dangerous than a coin like Bitcoin Cash, but not really in the sense that I think Theta has got a very, very good likelihood. And that's why I look at coins, safe coins, the ones that I feel that if cryptos succeed, they are succeeding for sure. Or Bitcoin Cash and stuff like that. And as much as people might hate Ripple, that's probably going to succeed for a while. Coins like that are going to continue on. If Binance coin keeps going there, coin is going to keep succeeding. Litecoin, EOS, well maybe EOS. I've heard some bad stuff about them, but who knows? Probably Cardano though. And there's just so many others that I haven't even mentioned. Monero, and what just the list goes on. But then the ones that are ranked 30, like DGB, I think that's going to do well, but it's obviously not as safe as Bitcoin Cash, and these lower ones have big moves. So if you're trading Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin together, Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum together, it's a lot more volatile than trading the Japanese yen and the euro by multiple folds. But they're the lowest of the bunch, so they're the lowest of an extremely high volatile market. And knowing that it's high volatile also gives you an amazing opportunity to do one of two things within portfolios. And obviously, as far as each person, it's always your own decision. But this is the type of things I'd be telling people is number one, you you really don't have to put too much in to really take advantage of this great deflationary cycle. For getting 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500, 1000x gains just simply not withdrawing. And even when you withdraw, the gains are going to be spectacular. But if you don't withdraw, you can get like 1000x gains over a period of time when you have all these great up and down moves, especially if you get some good coins that can do 30, 40, 50, 60x against the dollar in a whatever period of time, have your pullbacks. Of course, one of the things I'd be talking about is the level of protecting profits when coins against Bitcoin and Bitcoin against the dollar and the coins overall against the dollar are so high, and that using those for measures of profit taking, using those as measures of maybe entering into like a stable coin, a true US dollar fund for buybacks later, those sort of deals. But as far as crypto markets are concerned now, that's not the case. because, of course, altcoins have been taking a hit down. And we've got the 3-day term time frame. Good to see this back. We can see, well, it can have some fantastic moves. But other coins, well, Bitcoin goes up 3x, other ones go up more phenomenal. Does great. So back to the whole retirement thing I was mentioning with gold and silver, and you use fiat cash less frequently when you use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as far as things you normally use in your everyday life for money. And if need be, if situations come across where unexpected expenses come in, well, you got two ways of pulling and getting it: cryptos or precious metals. And both of them are very, very liquid assets, with cryptocurrencies being more liquid. Liquid means the availability to turn it into the everyday spending cash, which has been through our entire life fiat currency. How fast does it take to turn gold and silver into that? How fast does it take to turn your precious metals into that? And your cryptos and such. And Bitcoins and all the other ones, it doesn't take long. That's what's so wonderful about it. And precious metals, it'll take a bit. You have to actually, and the fastest way is knowing in advance. You always you should know this if you own it right now. Which places do you go to? Do you have to drive to be able to sell it, to get to honest, reputable dealers that you're not gonna get a good price, but you're gonna get something on it for your silver, knowing that some people really try to screw you off, and you do not avoid that. You go in there, and you come in dressed well, knowing that you're educated well, to the point where, and even in that type of attitude where you ain't going uh, to lowball me, but you can even just clarify. I mean, come on, you know the deal, man. Spot is this. This is what the going rate that you guys pay, kind of. You go through all that type of stuff, research all that stuff. But if you're a lot of times you're looking at near spot for even decent coins, and that oftentimes is the best you're going to get. But the whole point of it is if you need it for whatever situation, that's the whole point of, well, how many years worth you have left. Oh, something happens, and if you got a lot and you're only taking 2-3% to cover whatever expense, and it's a good expense, we'll say at 2-3%, then you got a good financial savings at that point. And then, of course, within retirement, one of the almost gimmies is no intermediate or large debt. I don't care if you got like $600 you just put on the credit card for something that's nothing. But your house, maybe you got a boat, maybe you got a car. You definitely got a car. You probably don't. You might have a boat. I don't know. And if you don't have a house, well, you're either renting or you're owning. And if you own, obviously that's exactly it. You own. And there's nothing wrong with renting if you still wish to desire, especially if you might go from place to place over and over. But I've never done that, and whatever. The whole point of it is, it, paying your rent at should be as easy as anything, of course, when you're at that kind of financial freedom. And yeah, so you're paying off all of that major debt. Oh, nothing. You own your car. You just cover all the expenses as they come. Prepay for as many as you wish to make things as secure is always good ideas. And in situations where, say, well, let's just assume where something like this happens, where Bitcoin goes up to, like, say 95,000, and then it goes up to, like, say 182. I want to protect those gains. I want to buy a year's worth of groceries now. Well, then do it. Do it. There's ways of doing it. And it takes some work to do it. One of the simple ways is just buy true US dollar funds, and I mean there's a risk in that too, and then have it there. Another way is just actually putting the cash itself. And then strategies in how do I interact as much with Bitcoin without even dealing with a bank? Because there's something that I do enjoy about cryptocurrencies, is that I have never ever had Bitcoins none of my Bitcoins have ever seen Toronto Dominion or Scotia Bank, a Waterhouse account, any type of PayPal, anything like that. Maybe someone transferred it to it later, I don't know, but when I bought Bitcoin, that was a long time ago. And I don't ever plan on buying Bitcoin this way again because it's all about doing the opposite now as far as taking it back. But back in here, back when it went down to these lower levels in 2017, 900 and 900 US dollars. It was actually 930, 940, working its way back up from there. And then higher in Canadian currency, but it's all the same basically. Go to a gas station and I buy a voucher card. I researched this on the internet, FlexiPin, I think it was called, and well, I found a creative way. As long as I buy the minimum, which I was a little frustrated on that. I mean, I would have done better if I would have bought more, but if I bought the minimum, I was going to get about a 7-8% extra payment fee. So what happened was I would buy $20 worth of Bitcoin, but it cost me 22. I had to pay them $2 of a fee, so there's $2 right off the bat, 10%. And okay, so I put the fee in, followed the instructions on the internet, gave them my public key, and they sent out $18 and like 8.20 worth of Bitcoin. So there's $1.80 taken off now. So now it's $3.80 on what's an $18 plus purchase. I'm thinking to myself, that's over 20%. Man, that's a lot. Oh, and then I noticed that through time I could actually get it down to seven. Well, what would they do? They do different promos like, oh, if you buy three $20 cards this week, or buy three times, then you or just buy one more time is I think how it started. There was two different promotions I had together. It worked out to both times 7%. But another one is if you buy another card, like say a $50 card, we'll give you so much free coin or free coin, pretty much the same vocabulary for me, but free like a score number, but free Bitcoin. And I look at the math and I figure, okay, well, if I do this, they're going to take what worked out on $50 that the fee was like $4 or $3 instead of so it was less than 10% when I paid for 50 instead. But they still took 10% off on the 50. It worked out to getting like $45 and like 50 cents or something. But then they gave me free coin, like they gave me free Bitcoin. They gave me like $20 free here if I did it. So there's another $18 coming in. And then when I did all the calculations of what I had to spend, what I actually got, and what the fees were, well, it cost me like 7.5%. I calculated in advance. I'm like, well, let's do it now. I mean, I wish I would have spent 8% and maybe instead of buying $50, put $100 or 200 or 250 in, which I would have easily been able to afford too. But you know what? It was what it was, and now it's at the stage where why would I need to turn what little fiat currency I have into what much more I have on crypto space? It's about okay, I want to go eat here. Yeah, let's pay for cryptos. I know how to do it. Okay, I got groceries that I got pay in August. I got some gas. Gas is a buck and change a liter. Got some of that I got to pay for, and yeah, I do go to restaurants here and there. That's got to be paid for. Maybe I don't need clothes next month. In fact, it's already paid for already, so that's already covered. That'll be out actually for me. That'll be Wednesday. I'll be buying some probably shorts, and don't need any shirts. I do need shorts. But anyway, yeah, it's all about yeah, I'll cover it with Bitcoin. And you get some phenomenal gains. That's when you do it. Phenomenal purchases you want to get, like you want to buy this big tractor, then go ahead and purchase it. Then now here's another interesting strategy as well too. Um, Say you're considering one of those don't pay for like 1 year or 18 months kind of things you see on different places. You know what? Interesting strategy. Because one, that type of asset, yes, it might go lower in price, but the bottom line is you're going to get its use value on it. But it might increase a little bit in price for what you're going to have to pay for it maybe 12 months down the line. Something you really, really want and going to need, all that type of stuff. But if we're going through hyperdeflation, you have to pay for 18 months. You might be buying something like, um, I don't know, maybe like a car, and it's gonna work out like you're buying like a nice bike instead. Like, oh, it's like I just spent. It feels like I bought this car for $800 or $1,200 because of how well your cryptocurrency could very easily do over the next 18 months. I've already one person I know has already done that already, and it was a really nice purchase. Of we'll just say it's not a car, but it was a motor. It was a motor vehicle of some sort, and um, you know what? That's to me with several $1,000s. You're like, okay, something you would probably might have contemplated or considered doing, but it's a sweet in the pot kind of deal because you got how much Litecoin, how much Theta, and you're trading it back and forth amongst the strategy that I've talked about. Yeah, and you got this other Bitcoin as well, and you know what? It's not a bad strategy, I think. And in 18 months when you got to pay for it. If the big gains come in like 10, 12, 14, you can lock up the cash right there. And it's done. And a lot of those like no interest events and all that type of stuff. It's just something again worth thinking about. And what I would be thinking too, it's funny because I actually got a little trade, interesting trade. I'm not going to talk much about it, but it's got to do with what's got the health and medicine, where I'm actually getting a lot of good new this stuff. Webbots even talked, I think, stuff about this, where all these new discoveries are coming in. And well, I talked a lot about it today. It's 8 years in the discovery mode right now, created by somebody who suffered from illnesses in Spain and well, it works out that um, I'm going to be paying for it at cost, which is four figures. Not much, but not little either, or not. It's not that little, but it's not that expensive. That's the way of putting it. So one of the things mentioned is okay. Well, I'll pay this sum now. We can put this into cryptos. Go over this trading strategy. I'll even manage your trading strategy, and I'll do all these different investment cycles basically for free. But if somebody that I kind of didn't know, but I felt I could trust to talk to, kind of deal, wanted to just seriously get into it. One, I'm gonna have to teach you how to buy Bitcoin because I'm gonna all I could do is sell you a starter amount. And secondly, time is money. So obviously, I'm getting like what should be over into the five-figure number for four figures, or well over 60%, 70% off what regular price would be when it's all said and done. When you include the time as well, I'd be basically doing the same thing back on investing, and so many different other ways of doing it too, and then of course paying for the rest of the amount probably via cash the rest of the way. And a lot of this just trading being crypto stuff like this is going to be going on. But it's actually exciting new technology. I've the day I didn't do a video was actually the first full day I was on it, and I pretty much was like all day, and it's good. It's getting a lot of the detox and toxins out and stuff like that. And for the last few days, it's like wow, this is actually feeling pretty good so far. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, just part of the whole deal. Yeah, someone comes in and they just want to talk to me for like this type of stuff. I'm probably going to be working close to at least $100 an hour. So how serious are you upon it now? There's a lot of close friends in the past. Those numbers would change. That's the whole point of why I say I just can't do the traditional thing because I mean it would almost be um, your price would be subjective to what you're looking for and really who you are. Obviously, if you're looking to do big things with a lot of money, I'm not going to be lowballing my offer to you. In fact, it'd be quite the opposite. And then, of course, how much do you want me to teach you how to do it yourself so that you flip the ratios back and forth, or do you need me to alert you to tell you when to trade? Obviously, both one I'm going to have to charge you for. Um, these are the different things that I would have fun doing, but I don't want to go out and like again do too much on it because spending all this time. I mean, that's why I'm doing these videos. It's fun, but I only can do so much of it. I'm not going to do 4, 5, 6 hours a day of it. No way, no how. Or nowhere near 20 hours, 10, 15 hours managing and helping other people's portfolios. Although the odd week here and there, and definitely it's something I might consider if. But as far as the trading game, I can do it on my own. I got a bankroll that's better than what I think is sufficient to do very well with. I got X amount more than I think is what I think you need. And in that case, there, um, let's just put it this way. I really don't even want to talk to you if you don't want to get if you don't got $500 in there. I'm really not going to talk to you too much, and you're not really serious until you can get to four figures to start. That's my idea. But once you start to go to many more than that, well, then you can do a lot better than that, I guess. Suppose. But if you start with just 1,000, you know what? I think we could make that grow pretty good. I've started with less than that, and I grew mine pretty damn good. So yeah, it can be done. So that to me, that's where I work within it, and even too, there's really a base minimum when you look at the ratio trades, depending on how much volume you trade off of what you sell. Because well, against Bitcoin anyway, the minimum trade nowadays is about $11.42. And I really didn't show too much of the charts, and I didn't think I was going to talk so much like this. But the whole point was just talking about like, yep, not being a financial advisor. Let me just take a look at what's going on the short term and then other markets. I'm actually working toward my spreadsheet. I'm going to be probably moving it to. I'm going to be doing a lot of upgrades to it in the summer, which is going to be nice. Also, too, I've been doing research about the most northern part of Canada, Inuvit, not Nunavut, but Inuvit. It's probably it's an interesting spot. But one of the things I want to do in Canada is get out of Canada when it gets damn hot in July and August and go to places like Australia and other parts of Canada. So what I'll probably end up doing in time is hopefully if the West Coast has a not a hot spell when Toronto has a hot one, I can maybe flip out to places like Edmonton or to for a little bit. Maybe spend a few days in Edmonton, and then from there maybe head up north to Yellowknife for a few days, and then from there spend a few days up in Inuvit, and then head back to Toronto. But that's just throwing that part aside. Uh, that wouldn't happen this year unless Litecoin prices go to four figures, because that would not cost cheap. In fact, that would cost quite a bit. But you know what? It doesn't cost all that much, and what I think will be a hyper deflationary period. I think the price of airline tickets and hotels and rentals for cars and boats and all the fun gadgets and stuff, I think they're going to go down in price. How many Bitcoin they'll be worth? Of course, against Bitcoin and against Litecoin and against my portfolio value. And that's a lot of what I'd be talking about too is your net portfolio value, understanding exchanges, bringing coins back and forth, doing all that yourself. Because really, I mean, there's a damn good chance I'm not going to do it for you. There's only three other people I'm technically doing it for. And of course, one being in this case in here. And they're all blood related, blood family. Everyone's in this case people I've known my whole life. And, or their whole life for that matter when they're younger. And, yeah, that's to me the way I do it. But I mean, the best I could do is I'll give you a text message, I give you a phone call, I'll tell you what to do. Hey, there's a nice little breakout on Bitcoin, getting above the 15. Yo, go, baby. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But other than that, that is about that. Now, I've always thought about doing this for the internet based because I know I can do a lot of stuff over the phone in different situations. Um, I don't know what to say about that. I probably definitely would talk in. As far as my email is concerned, the word endless mountain, so ENDLESS, then the word mountain altogether. The number is 2008, so endless mountain 2008, and that's at yahoo.ca. But as far as stuff like that, like again, just any one regular person, as far as a live seminar, I would be most likely doing somewhere near $100 an hour. And again, that depends on who it is, oftentimes, and their financial status too. Again, if they're just trying to work with $1,000, I got to realize uh, basically what's a fair price for them. And again, there's no reason for me. Like if you really wanted to be serious, I'd really like to see 2, 3, because then I realized you could afford to pay for things like my time and go through the different segments of what you need to do. A lot of the stuff that I've talked about, and the main stuff I've already talked about on here over and over and over, a nausea, if you want to use that term. But I know on an individual level preference, I mean, I could go up to one person and say, "Man, you got to get yourself some gold now. You got to get yourself some silver now." And then the next person comes in, I'm like, "You got to sell some gold, sell some silver." Although strategically, you might want to play around with this gold market over the summer and everything. But yeah, anyway, yeah, you got to sell some because you got way too much compared to your cryptos type thing. And it all depends on everybody's where they stand, what their goals are for where they plan to be, who they got dependent with upon them, their children, any other just other miscellaneous situations, different factors that they got going on within their life that this and this, all of their interest and all of those things. There's so many different variables that are unique to each individual. And even when I do have those variables, I still try to make that as in a broad base level that I possibly can. Different things about record keeping, the spreadsheets, using taking notes on different things like that, using like accounting books. I'm old school. How you would how I could strategically use an accounting book, and I mean obviously you have that's a you'd have to have decent enough amount of skills because there's a good chance if you don't. There's a lot of people I could teach accounting to, and they would be like totally lost, and there's no way they're going to get it completely. There's nothing I can do. Spreadsheets do make it a little bit easier in this modern time because, especially because they do a lot of the work for you and get the results you're looking for pretty much immediately. But I mean, I spent a lot of my life in the 1990s working on accounting books. Starting the 1990s off, learning it in high school. And my last accounting job, well, I guess I shouldn't say that, but I guess my last official accounting job was 1998, although I did a lot of those types of duties into the early 2000s as well. But accounting, it's tedious. However, if you're a simple you're trading one, two, three, four different crosses. It doesn't take much work to do the trades. It doesn't take much work to document it. So it keeps it simple. And we see nice little further action here on the 5. Let's just finish this off on the T and call it a night. And I'll be back tomorrow morning with another video. I got a lot more energy with this, but it's also combined with a couple other things that I'm taking too, so I'm a little wired. Oh my, what the heck is going on with these exact freaking hits? I mean, that's just sick. How it does that over and over and over and over again. What's the exact low here? 11 triple two. Or triple, no, double 20. Pierced below by 4 basis points. Well, markets do what they do. It's interesting because I talked. It seems faster to scroll. I mean, the scrolling seems so much nicer here. I mean, but with the premium package, that is. But here's where I was like, yeah, I mean, this looks so weird. Why are we supporting like majorly? Why are we having massive support, continuously piercing noticeably high above this level? That was just not a common thing that I see. Piercing extra below, okay, that's fine. Okay, whatever. I'll give you that. That's normal. But and exact hits are normal too, which of course is something just seen. But here we come in down to it, resist it majorly. Comes up, pierce below. Okay, everything's back to normal again. We have this move here. Okay, lower highs, all these. You see a lower high here, a lower high here, a lower high here, and then the low right at the fib line. And well, now we have matching high to this one. Okay, that back to the area where it came from. Had a very good run within the 18. It showed this little pause period, the 20 after midnight period. And then of course as we were watching this, at least I was anyway, live, just going through in the 5 minute before, just having a big break. And on the single minute term time frame, look at this interesting volume of people dumping out here. Well, that's what hit that low. Did it over, look at that, 3 different minutes they kept pumping it down like that. Okay, well, we got in here 25 minutes after midnight it gets pumped up. It's percentage move. Oh my goodness, now that I say that, I gotta go to the stock market to finish it off. It's percentage move on this 1 minute time frame. Let's not compare this to the SPY after we do this to conclude it. But on the 1 minute time frame, 0.22%. Look at the size of this move at 0.22%. How big does it look? Massive? It looks good. It's not by anywhere near extreme. We got to look at the stock market if we want to see an extreme move based on its history. A little bit of symmetricalness in here, but a nice little bullish behavior. And this does move faster. It moves every second on the regular version. This one moves every tick now. Kind of like it. Sorry about that sound. Kind of like that tick that came in. That might have been really loud. I hope not. I hope it was. Hope that was fine. Obviously, if something like that. Anyway, SPY. Let's just kill the suspense or add haste to the suspense a little bit. In this intraday session, there was a volatile minute, and it was the final minute, not the final countdown. Look at the size of this candle. Getting like all of this back in one session over three. Well, look at the size of the volatility. Now in Bitcoin, that 1 minute move was 0.22%. This 1 minute move to end the day on Friday was 0.13%. This big green candle is 0.13%. It got back, and then from this low in here, what do we got? We got 29 cents to the 298. So that's another 36 on top of that. That's like plus a bit more over the four. So we're looking at about 70 cents. Well, this was up like 40. So we're looking at what, 0.22% maybe. So it gained 2.22% in over 3 minutes, and it lost that exact amount in like 20 something minutes. And all of these candles. So this little small pause candle is a negative 0.01% move. That's microscopic amongst its volatility. And that's why I'm thinking it's a great hyperdeflationary cycle, because everything's volatility, with the exception of a few particular items here and there, everything's, and very few particular ones, or amount of them, or very few amount of assets that aren't crypto are going to have volatility anything close to what we have in cryptos. Meaning, you have um, whatever it is, the deflation moves can be big. Oh my goodness, this goes up. This price has just tripled over the last year. Okay. Well, I guess it's not as cheap as it could have been, but good thing cryptos do better than that. That's the attitude. Or the idea that it looks like it's going to be towards great transfer of wealth we're living through, I think, right now. I think this is a very vital cycle because I think a great profit time is in play with, I think, what's going to happen. With whether the altcoins go up from here or not, we'll see. But I'm playing it. I'm taking the risk reward on it. If you lose on it, then you're going to lose with me. And if you win with it, you're going to win with me on it. There's not much more else I can say about that because I'm taking the risk and I'll lose if it does. But I'm taking the reward when the rewards come in play. And it's all, and again, profit taking, understanding different situations for when to do it. What percentage of your cryptos do you pull out for this mechanism? What percentage of a certain altcoin do I pull out because its price is so expensive against Bitcoin? Is it a fun gamble maybe to sell everything here in the situation? Those types of questions need to be answered. And a lot of times, these answers you have as a trader, you have a decent amount of time, but not that much. Because back in 2017, right around from Christmas of 2017, in the entire month of January, that's the amount of time you had for great profit taking of what was, and I felt it, a very good cycle of hyper deflation because I bought my parents $1,000 computer for Christmas. It felt like I bought it to them for $80 or $100, if not even 60. It really did feel that way. It was a beautiful feeling. And taking advantage of them when they happen, I think, is very important. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day.